Welcome to the Laverne Library Board meeting of, wrong date, July 8th of 2024. We have a quorum, so I'm going to officially call this meeting to order. First thing up for us to look at are to approve the minutes from the May 13th regular meeting. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to accept as submitted.
All right, do I have a second?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Minutes are approved. All right, walking down our agenda, old business, we've got our library board bylaws. So I will open up that discussion.
So we have been working on the bylaws. Really appreciate Ms. Katie Driver and all the hard work that she has done toward our bylaws. Hope that you had an opportunity to look over them. So at this time, I'm just going to open it up for any questions, concerns, or comments that you have about our newest bylaws.
I thought they looked good when I read through them online.
Mm-hmm.
I think every question we've had in the past, for me, every question I had has been answered, and they're clear, they're concise, and they are in our new century. I love it.
It's great. It's using modern language and easy to understand, and I feel like that this is a great set of bylaws, being that our last set was in 1988, I believe. Would we like to make a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion to accept as submitted.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. We have new bylaws.
All right,
Great.
all right.
Thank you to the board and thank you to Katie.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, next up on our agenda, library card replacement charges. I'll turn that over to Ms. Donna.
Okay, so this is under our new business. Currently, we charge $5 per card for replacement. It has been like that since 2002, when the new building was built and going forward. I checked into it, and we approximately had 20 cards that were replaced in 2023, so that was about $100. Cost of the cards, I just bought 2,000 new adult cards, and they're 32 cents each. I would like for us to consider no charge for replacement cards. At this time, several libraries around us no longer charge for replacement cards, and some of the reasons to consider the no charge for replacement cards is the access and equity. You know, public libraries are committed to providing equitable access to information and resources for all of our community, and charging a fee for a replacement card could create a financial barrier for some of our lower income individuals or families who may depend very heavily on our library services. And please stop me at any time if you have any questions or concerns. Another reason is to promote library use. By not charging a fee for replacement cards, we encourage our patrons to continue using their services without additional financial burden. And this helps us maintain and increase community engagement with library resources. Another reason would be customer service. Offering free replacement cards demonstrates goodwill and customer service to our patrons. It helps us build positive relationships between the library and its community members. And another reason, education and lifelong learning goals. We as libraries, we promote lifelong learning and education. By waiving that fee for a replacement card, it supports our goals by ensuring that individuals can consistently access educational materials, digital resources, and community programs without, the financial impediments. So do you have any questions? And I would love to hear your concerns or your thoughts on us not charging for replacement library cards.
Well, from a budgetary standpoint, this is a very minor impact, if any, for the city's budget and the library budget. So for me, I don't see a problem with this. It's what our surrounding communities have already moved to, so.
That's what I was wondering, and how would that affect the budgeting and whatnot, so.
It's $100 is what we made last year with it, and the cost was $3.20, so it's a $97 hit.
I'm all for it.
Okay, excellent. And we have had patrons who have come in to get a replacement card. And of course, we do offer that if they did not want to pay the $5, we could look up their card number for them using their photo ID. And several of them have written down their card number. But it's so wonderful to have that card in your hand. And when you've had a child who has lost their card, and we're saying, I'm sorry, you can't have a card because it costs $5. Do you have $5? We don't say it like that. But, you know, that's the impact. So, thank you. Any other?
Do we need to make a motion to remove that charge?
I'll make a motion to remove the $5 charge for replacement library cards.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Thank you
item
very
now
much.
approved.
I think this is a step forward.
I love
very much a
removing that
step
barrier.
forward.
That's a good one. All right, so next on that new business is ID for computer guest passes. So talk to us about this,
Okay.
Ms. Donna.
So these are things that Tammy as my new assistant library director, she has been wonderful. We have sit down to look over our policies and to look over some of the things that we have done just because it's always been done that way. And we're now comparing ourselves to our neighbors like Nashville Public Library, Rutherford County Library System. Not that we have to be like them, but it's good for us all to be very similar. So this is one thing, the ID for computer guest pass. So we currently require a photo ID to receive a guest pass to use a computer. Now, this guest pass can be for someone who doesn't have their library card, and if that's the reason, what we'll do is we'll ask for their ID, we'll look up their library card and give them their number. They don't have to take a guest pass. But if someone who is just moving through, that needs to use the computer for a reason to print off something quickly, we have people come in wanting to print off shipping labels, wanting to print off things for the airport, you know, just very quickly. They may not be back to our library moving through, or they may come back once or twice a year. Then sometimes requiring a photo ID can present several challenges and potential barriers to access. One thing is accessibility. Not everyone has a government-issued photo ID, and this requirement could exclude individuals who are homeless, elderly, or from marginalized communities who may not possess or have access to such identification. Students is one of the reasons. We have students bring in their high school ID. If they don't have their high school ID before, sometimes they couldn't get on if they didn't have a parent or if they didn't have someone in there. That's one reason we started taking pictures, so that if they didn't have their card with them, they didn't have their photo ID with them, we could use a little bit of their information, such as first and last name, address, phone number, look them up, and then we could see the picture. Well, that helped. But by not using an ID for just computer guest passes, it really will help with our students who come in there. Most of them will come on a Friday afternoon or a Saturday afternoon at 3:30 and need to print off a bunch of work for research papers because it's due Monday morning. And if they are not given the access to the computers, there goes their homework, there goes their project. Another reason that we have had people tell us is privacy concerns. Requiring a photo ID raises those privacy issues. Users may be uncomfortable sharing personal information or having their identity documented for simply using a public service like our library computers. When we ask for a photo ID, of course, they give us their license usually, and we do not write down their license number. We write down their name and their zip code. But to them, that's still their personal information. Barriers to service. It adds an additional barrier for people who urgently need to use a computer for job applications, educational purpose, or accessing government services, but lack the required identification. And last, it may discourage usage. So some individuals may avoid using the library computers altogether if they know they will be required to provide a photo ID. This defeats the purpose of making technology and information accessible to all. Now, we currently implement login procedures and time limits to ensure responsible use of the public computers. If you have your library card, you do not have to come up to the reference desk. You do not have to show a photo ID because you've already shown a photo ID when you've received your library card. You can go straight to the computer, type in your library card number, and then your password that you have come up with that we have typed into our system. But once we type it in, it goes away. It's just dots. So we don't keep that information. And then they can get in and do what they need to do. This practice is no longer used in most libraries, including, of course, Nashville Public Library and the Rutherford County Library System. So I would love to hear any concerns or comments about us going away from a photo ID for computer guest pass.
I just have a question. Do you know why it was required in the first place?
Long ago, there was something about we needed to have the name in case they were a criminal, in case they had warrants out against them. Again, this was long ago. And it just stuck. It stuck. Now, if there are ways that we can find out who's been on a computer, or at least track down the card, or at least track down, because we'll still be giving out guest passes. We just will not be writing them down. Mm-hmm. But we will be able to go back and see the guest pass number or the guest pass identification. It's just without linking it to the personal information. We do have the CIPA Act. It's the Children's Internet Protection Act that is on all of our libraries. We do have firewalls so that we are protected from porn sites. Now, sometimes they can still get around to the porn sites, but we can quickly shut that down. There are ways that we can watch out for that. Any other concerns? Mayor, are you familiar with the Patriot Act? Mm-hmm. Okay, could you explain that a little bit to them?
I really don't think the Patriot Act comes into task with this, because we're not. The Patriot Act deals a lot with monitoring American citizens, and whether it's financial, whether it's computer use, and that's more Homeland Security. That's not coming into play so much with our library. They're able to monitor that at a much higher level.
Right.
I personally will say I feel comfortable with this, considering the back-end infrastructure that's in place to prevent improper usage. And so, and we just, we've got to monitor our end to make sure that this isn't being abused in the long run. So
correct.
That's something that staff would do.
I'd like to second the fact that, as an educator in the schools here, there's a lot of kids, especially at Livermore Middle School, a lot of kids were coming in from different countries, parents from different, there are recent arrivals, and for them it might be hard to get that access. They don't have the technology at home, and then if they need an ID. So I think this would be a good addition to, or a good thing to remove from it.
And this is something that we can monitor as we go to make sure things are going correctly and that we're not having any uptick in any behaviors, if that makes sense. So I just feel like this will make us a more welcoming library and one that the patrons who are visiting feel comfortable, and we want that. Another good thing about our system, we're just going to use porn for a second. We have the control system, and that is what controls the time limits, and our firewalls are attached to this. If perhaps I have a parent come by and say, I just walked behind a computer and I see something that I don't think really should be up because of our children, one of us will take a little stroll, and then we can very quickly go over to our computers and send a message. Please take down the site that you are on. It is inappropriate, and it goes against our SEPA Act, our SEPA policy. And more likely than not, they will instantly get out. And that's just one thing that could happen.
Oh, a quick question. What is the current time limit on it? Because I've always brought in my own laptop when I came in to do work, so.
Sure. It's 4 hours.
Oh,
We were able to up that amount when we received 7 more computers. That was several years ago, which was exciting. It used to be 1 hour, way back when. And then it went to 2 hours, and we were excited. And then there were people who were coming in to do job applications or to have to take online tests and, are testing to get a job. And so came to the board, and the board very kindly allowed us to go up to 4 hours. We have not had a waiting list. We have enough computers that we can spread out. We do have a way of creating a waiting list in case we need that. Most people do not stay on 4 hours unless they absolutely have to. And we have one patron that comes in every day, and he's on about 2.5 hours. And he's just happy as a lark, but he knows he has that other time if he needs it. But 4 hours at this point. If you bring in your own laptop, there's no time limit. You just hook on to our Wi-Fi or our MiFi.
Any concerns from legal?
No, I don't have any. This is consistent with what other communities are doing, and this is consistent with state law. So there is no requirement that you
Okay,
check IDs.
thank you.
Now, with this being just a policy of theirs, do we need to take a vote on that, Katie?
I think that it would be for the best, since we're all here, we have a quorum, if we button this up.
Yes.
All right, well, I will entertain a motion to remove the ID requirement for a guest pass.
So moved.
All right, second.
second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion
Awesome.
carries.
Thank you very much. I feel this is another great step forward for our library. We keep moving forward.
All right, so that is the end of the things that are on our agenda, but you did give us a handout. Do you want to go over those numbers for the public? Or is
Yes,
that
and I
just
think
for our
I
eyes
gave
only?
out all, here it is. This is I put this in last moment. This is the monthly board report that I give to our Board of Mayor and Aldermen, and very excited about our June numbers.
Yeah.
Excuse me, one moment.
Sorry, Ms. Dunn, I caught you by surprise, but these were good numbers, so I was like, oh,
No, this
They
is
are.
great.
They're great numbers.
So the programs that we had in June were 38, and that includes babies all the way through adults. And I feel like we need a drum roll for this. Our program attendance was 2,014.
All right.
Excellent attendance. Our library attendance, those coming in our doors, 9,247. Circulation, 6,134. And that was just our printed materials and our DVDs. Our ebooks and our e-audios, 239. I felt very good about that number. New patron cards, 216.
Wow.
I think this is the very top number that we've had since I've been at the library, which off and on has been 18 years. Computer usage, 1,050. So our computer usage is up a little bit. Summer reading's going to go on now until June 27th. And we were closed for the 4th of July, and I hope that all of you had a wonderful 4th of July. If you can notice, I put in a couple of sets of pictures. There's Creekside Saturday. This is where Alexandra Thompson from Stormwater came in. She goes down into our creek and she catches these little critters and brings it up to show the children and talk about stormwater, talks about the creek, why it's important to keep our creeks clean, and what these little critters do to help our everything that goes on there in the creek. We also have the duck race, which is a collaboration with the Parks of Recreation and Maintenance, and the parks guys love it. They created the river, and the children race their rubber ducks down the river. I do have to tell you that Parks and Recreation have a couple of new people, and sometimes those parks guys can be pranksters. And so one of them came in one day, and he said, ask Miss Donna. And I thought, ask me what? And so the person said, Miss Donna, Randy told me that the duck race is where you bring in your pet ducks, and they're real, and you tie ribbons around their neck, and you race them down the creek. So, no, they're rubber ducks that have been scribbled and drawn on with markers. But very, very excited about our numbers. And we could not have those numbers without our library board, without our board of mayor and aldermen providing us such a great budget that we're able to do these great things for our patrons and our citizens of Laverne.
All right, well, our next library board meeting is on September 9th of 2024 at 5 p.m. Does anyone have any comments?
I just wanted to say that I appreciate you and your staff bringing these issues of equity and inclusion to
you.
the board. I think it's very important, and applaud you for bringing these to us. Please continue to
We will.
any barriers to access. We'd love to help remove.
Thank you.
Agree on that, and I want to tag on to the numbers for the month of June. This is a testament to how welcoming you and your staff are to the
Great.
members of our community. And so with seeing the barriers being removed this month, I'm curious to see how things keep going up and just blossoming, going even better than they currently. I mean, this is beautiful numbers, so I can't wait to see where they go. So good job.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I'm just so excited how the summer went, because I came to see you and asked how the numbers were. You were so excited, and I was so excited about the numbers. I was like, these kids are really enjoying this. So kudos to you and your team. It's awesome that what we're doing in our local library for our community.
Thank you. Yep. One thing I would like to say is today we have a new staff member. Kylie Sanders started today. She was in orientation, and she is the last to fill our little family. So we are now all full again until someone decides to leave the nest. And so very, very excited about that. So we welcome her.
Excellent. All right, if no one has anything else, I will adjourn this meeting.